Okay, let's say that this thing is not got the problem anymore of being able to stick and pull it out, so we've got it so rewound, but then you find out that it's not really as tense as you would think it was, and it won't pull the light on or whatever you have hanging, so you want to add a little bit extra tension on it. So what we're going to do with this is that we're going to take the bracket off again. I'm going to remove the screw on this side and get that off. Now I'm going to keep that screw with that washer together, and I'm going to take the bracket, lift it out of the place here where it's raised, get it out of the way a little bit, just kind of flex it over, put this screw in on this side, and we're going to drive that screw back in to hold this side cover with the electrical contacts and stuff still on the shaft. Alright, now after I get this tight, I'm going to turn it over here, and I'm going to be ready with another washer, and now I'm going to take the bracket off, but I'm also going to replace the screw but with the extra washer on it that we used. See, we're taking this off here. Alright, now we're going to lift this off, put the star washer on there, put the screw on it. Now I'm going to lift this off here, the bracket completely, and remember we have our hex shaft that goes into that cover. We don't want that to come apart, so we're going to put the, get my hand out of the way of the camera here. I'm going to put the screw in on this side with the extra washer, run that down, okay, and we're going to tighten this up here. If I can get the screwdriver in. There we go. Alright, so now that's in, it's secured on both sides. We don't have the bracket anymore. Okay, so we've got the cover here. We've got this working so that when you release it, we got it past the point where it was all stuck inside. Now we can release it. Gotta get to the end of that, let her go. Rolls on back there. But turns out, in my case, if I hang the light on it, it kind of comes, droops out and doesn't pull all the way up. So we're going to get another wrap around this thing so that it will produce a little bit more tension and pull it on up. Maybe yours has got a weak spring or something like that. You want to add a little bit more to it. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to wrap the cord around without moving the position of the spring, and that'll, with that wrap, we'll get some additional tension. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out a ways, so we've got some extra stuff to work with, and I'm going to actually take it out pretty far because I want to have enough so that when we get done with this we can put a whole wrap on it. So that's what we're going to do without changing anything inside. So to begin with on this, what we want to do is we want to take this cover off, but I want to tape in here with the duct tape so that the reel that the wire is on inside, I don't want it to rotate, not relative to this black ring on the outside, the plastic ring. So we're going to take the screw out now, here. Alright, now we can lift this off. This is the side that has the electrical connections on it. We've talked about that. Now I'm going to take this thing around to the opposite side. I'm going to lift the plastic ring up some. I don't want to jerk it around over on that side. I'm going to put a piece of tape again to continue to keep the reel from turning while we're working on it here. So I'm going to put a piece of tape across that and secure that to the other side of that cover, the yellow cover. So I've taped that to the reel, and with that I can remove this reel here. Okay, get it out. Alright, now that's still secured on this side, but now I can take the ring off and let it go with the wire and not have to fear that this thing's going to spin around. So we're going to move this over here. I'm going to, just a second here. Okay, I've drawn a little mark over here so that I know, in fact actually I'll draw one right here where the wire is coming off, so I know that I don't wind not too much or not a little. but I'm going to put that around there so that it comes back to this position. Now, I've put an extra wind on it, nothing's happening in the reel, and we're going to put the cover back on. And we're doing this, of course, to get it, start reassembling. I'm going to take my tape again once I make sure I'm seated in that edge in there. I'm going to put this tape to hold this one and the reel inside so it can't turn. I'm going to take the other piece of tape on this side, pull that all off, just going backwards from what we did a few moments ago. So I'm going to take that out with the ring a little bit, pull the rest of that duct tape out. And now, without all lot of ado, here we're going to put the cover back on. Okay, when we put the opposite side on there, this hole needs to be positioned correctly. You don't want to have this prong to be right at the hole. You want it to be on the opposite side where it goes through these two plastic tangs, and that prong should be inside of that, so that's centered on there. And this should be on the opposite side with the ring. So we're going to take this tape off over here with that hole position where we want it, where the wire is coming out. Now we're going to put the cover on, and again this has to have that prong stuck over here on this side. So now we'll get this in alignment with that. I'm going to find my screw here. Here it is, sitting right in front. Tighten up this side. Tighten that down. Okay, I'm going to flip it over on this side, and now we're going to start putting the bracket back on. And keep in mind that this has got to come out there. We're held together. I think we got the tape out now. We don't need that anymore. Take the bracket, bring it in from this side. You got to kind of put together. It might not even be a bad idea to take some duct tape. Now that everything's in there, we'll put one across both sides to hold that together. Secure that side here. Now we're going to put this one in. Hopefully this will all stay together. Okay, now that's almost off position on that hex. We don't want that to go anywhere. Obviously not. This has to come down here. That tang has to be in there. Now we're over the hole with it. We're going to bring just the regular washer and the screw. I'm going to tighten those two together here. When we get on the other side, we're going to find the bracket is sitting over the top of the screw, but that'll be easy to change. And we got, remember, we have to have that bracket with those two tangs inside of the sides of the bracket. I got lucky. It's there right now. Hold this down tight so it keeps that hex hole and the yellow to the hex shaft. Now we see the bracket over here. It's got to have its screw taken out and put back in after we get this out of the way. We'll do that by spreading this across far enough that I can get the screw out. Okay, I got the screw in the washer. Now I can line that up over the top of there, put the washer on and the screw over that. Yeah, now so I can show you this. So now we're in alignment. Screw started. Whoops, before I almost blew it here. Keep in mind that this end of this thing has to have that raised portion up. probably have to loosen the tape on this cover a little bit and turn it just slightly. There we go. Now we popped it in. See, you can make mistakes over here, but we'll get it done. I turned the cover just a little bit in order so that that could get on that release punch out. That tape will come off now on both sides, all assembled. And what we should have now, if everything is correct, is when I pull this out, when I release it now, it's got some more significant pull. We could put an extra wind on there, so I'm assuming that when I get it all done out in the garage, it'll lift the light up by adding that additional tension. So if you didn't have that problem, lack of tension on it, then you didn't have to do these last steps of taking this apart, but that's how you would do it. And if all you had to do was just adding tension, and there's not a problem with you, which we've already solved on how to get it out when it's overwound and you can't get it loose. So all you want to do is add tension. You just take these last steps to do that. And that's it.